Welcome to the Raw Spotlight podcast, where we feature inspiring leaders in the B2B space and share their unique stories. Let's get started with the show.
Hi, I'm Victor Huynh, your host for the Raw Spotlight, a podcast where we feature leaders from B2B businesses and community partners. Join us as we share their innovative strategies and inspiring success stories. So get comfortable, settle in, and get ready to be inspired. Before we get started, I have a sponsor message. This episode is brought to you by Ready Artwork, a website-first digital marketing agency dedicated to driving long-term growth for your business. At Ready Artwork, we believe your website is the foundation for your digital presence. That's why we lead with our proven 7-step website blueprint, a strategic process designed to deliver high-performing lead-generating websites. From custom websites and branding to local SEO and paid digital campaigns, we help businesses expand their reach with targeted web-driven strategies. Visit readyartwork.com to see how we can help unlock your brand's full digital potential. Today's guest is someone who knows the tax code better than most people know their Netflix passwords. Please welcome Martin Gamez, a veteran tax consultant with over 25 years of experience in federal and state incentives, particularly and most often misunderstood, the R&D tax credit. Martin has worked with everyone from startups to large enterprises in industries like technology, engineering, manufacturing, life sciences, and software. He founded Tax Formulation, a firm that helps businesses and CPA firms unlock millions in tax credits while reducing audit risk and streamlining compliance. Martin's practical, hands-on approach makes complex tax strategy feel surprisingly human. Outside the office, he's a fitness enthusiast, sports fan, and a proud father of 2 daughters. Whether he's guiding a business through an audit or cheering at a weekend soccer game, Martin brings the same passion and dedication. Martin, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Victor. How are you?
Good. Excited for today's episode.
Good to be here.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. Can we start with your origin story, right? Tell us about, who Martin is and what inspired you to specialize in tax credits, especially like the R&D tax credits. So it's so specific, right? So
Right.
Walk us through.
Well, when I started my journey in accounting, right out of New Mexico, I wasn't sure what type of or what service I wanted to be in, so I was kind of sampling all of them. I went into audit, I went into tax, a little bit of consulting, and then I was kind of thrown into the credits and incentives world, and in state and local tax world, which kind of went hand in hand. So I really liked it. I was kind of lost because I wasn't sure if it was accounting for me. Was it not? Was it tax? Was it audit? I wasn't sure. I wasn't. I was as at a loss to see. Did I make a right career choice for myself? But I ended up in the consulting in the incentives world, in state and local tax, and really enjoyed it. The aspect of it was that I was able to speak with CEOs, CFOs, heads of large companies, and got to know the cutting edge world of R&D, what the latest and greatest technologies that were coming out, and then seeing them take advantage of the credit, which was a big incentive.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how broad just accounting, right? When you get a degree in accounting.
There's many sides to accounting, just like a doctor would be, or a law, the family law, trial lawyer, stuff like that. The different sectors and within the attorney world, and same thing with accounting. There's a lot of departments or disciplines within accounting.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we talked about a wide range of options you can go, right? But, specifically in here, you worked with a lot of different industries, just R&D tax credits, right? What types of companies are, that surprise you, or they're surprised when you tell them, hey, you actually qualify for R&D tax credits?
Well, the first ones were the food and beverage. The
Mm,
food and beverage. You wouldn't think of it as, or even the garment industry. You wouldn't think of it as R&D type related, but because of the process, what they do to test these the foods or the textiles that they're working with. For instance, the food, there's a shelf life. I did
mm,
not know this at the time, so there's a shelf life. So you have to test for that shelf life.
mm-hmm,
So you have to kind of test what will preserve that food in the container for how long. And
mm,
so it's a whole intricate way of testing it. And so those would qualify. For the textiles, the dry fit.
mm,
You sweat. It dries real quick, or
right.
or the flexibility, or the contour, or the shape of the clothing. It doesn't phase as long as how you wear it, wash it, whatnot. It's they've tested for certain performance.
Yeah. Usually people assume like you have to be a big company with like a lab and scientists and lab coats to get R&D tax credits, right? In big tech or pharmaceuticals.
Right,
But
right. But
yeah,
that's not the case, because you know what? I've even been to a large company start from garages
right.
or their office,
Right.
and then they start developing a software, AI, certain information, certain product, and all of a sudden it takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
now they're cramped for space, and they keep moving and and moving on up. So a lot of these businesses start, so they start small mom and pop shops.
Yeah. So I know we just jumped right into it, but maybe, explain for those people that, in plain English that don't know what the R&D tax credit. Can you just give us a brief like overview of what it is?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of I guess definitions out there,
Mm-hmm.
but for the IRS, what they consider research and development is basically you have to pass four parameters.
Mm,
So the four parameters are, it's just not white lab coats or software. For manufacturers, if for any industry across the board, it has to have pass this four. It has to have a purpose. It has to why develop it. What's the purpose of developing this? And then it has to go through a uh, process of experimentation, right? So you have to. There's uncertainties to it that you in within the R&D process, and then there's process of experimentation where you have to solve those uncertainties, which is one and two, three, and then the last one would be the technology. You have to use hard sciences, basically math, engineering, computer science. No soft sciences such as like psychology, sociology, stuff like that.
mm,
But when the purpose, uncertainties, process of experimentation, and technology. If you pass those four, technically that's what the IRS defines as R&D.
okay. Cool. So like for sure if you're like a local manufacturer and you're developing products or you're doing things like that, that's definitely
Right. It's broad. So the definition is broad, so it's kind of open to interpretation.
mm,
But a lot of companies or manufacturers or they do the manufacturing or the process of their product, not knowing that they're actually doing R&D. So like a lot of what we see is that, let's just say that you have an assembly line, you're developing a widget, and then that widget, while we can't, maybe it's a certain size,
mm,
and it's coming across, and you're developing, and now a client wants it X size, double X, a little bigger.
mm,
Well, that's a whole new animal. So you can't do the same process for the same product for a different size. So
right.
you have to alter that process, so that you'll be able to produce that product
Mm-hmm.
and perform to specification. So you have to alter it. Sometimes it's a whole ordeal where companies really have to alter their process.
Mm, I see. What about on the flip side, someone that thinks they're filing properly but aren't, right? What are some of the common pitfalls there?
There's a lot of pitfalls. There's a lot of pitfalls. What I've seen out in the marketplace is basically people don't do their due diligence, or the companies that they're engaged with don't perform the engagement properly, where they have to actually ask to see does it really in fact match those pass those four parameters, and if they and it's like um for instance, it's maybe a product that they do day in and day out,
Hmm.
but they've already developed it way back when, and
Uh,
it hasn't altered in any way. So, but they're saying that, well, oh, we have to do this, we have to buy this machinery, we have to
mhm,
we have to do, even if they created the machinery and
mhm.
not purchased it, well, that's R&D, where they have
Right.
to actually take their machinery that they're currently using, and then
Uh-huh.
they alter it. Maybe they add a tooling
Hmm.
or some sort of apparatus or something that goes along with that machinery. But a lot of it is, and then they don't document it.
Mm.
They don't document the what they're actually doing, or the products, or it's a shot in the dark.
Do you have any stories of someone that you've come across that like totally got it wrong?
Yeah, there was a company that did cardboard cutouts,
Uh-huh.
and so they were trying to say that the cardboard, the way they because they do displays.
Hmm.
Well, that's kind of it's you're basically cutting out a cardboard
Right.
and putting it to like a movie display.
Right. Like a POP kind of a thing, a pop-up.
Yes,
Okay.
the only ones that we were able to take is that that you would probably consider are the ones that maybe that are very high tech, that with movement, and
Hmm.
so you had to create the tooling to move the arm, the leg, or
Right.
whatever, the animal, or however it would go. But you just can't carve out a box or a cardboard
Yeah.
display,
Right.
and then that's well, we have to see it, we have to put it in a certain size, and
Uh,
I know it's open to interpretation, but that's
right.
kind of a part of a stretch.
Right, right. Because in printing industry, cutting a custom die is pretty standard, right? Just because you change
Correct.
the shape of it doesn't make it R&D
Correct.
because it's the
Correct.
industry standard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies kind of engage with these companies or providers
Uh-huh.
that kind of just do what the client says. Let's just take it.
I see.
So, but we can't do that. You have to give the warning, or at least caution the client. This is very very gray.
Okay. Got
So
it.
sometimes it's black and white. Sometimes more black and white than
Yeah.
gray.
Definitely, definitely. So there's this other thing that I learned from you in your bio, like cost segregation. So that's something else you guys handle. What is cost segregation? And if you can explain what it is and break it down for us.
Cost segregation is basically the acceleration of depreciable assets. So
Okay.
let's just say that you purchased, let's say that you own that building that you're currently in,
Hmm.
and you've made alterations, or you've made um, uh, uh, you've built it out, you put HVAC, you put whatever, however it is,
Hmm.
and then but you're expecting to see like you're having a great year in revenue. So you have to do some tax planning. One of the strategies is the cost segregation study, where you take your building, you perform a cost segregation study, and you certain assets you can expedite. You can from, let's say, a 30-year, 2029, you do it 15, 10, 5,
Hmm.
5, 10, 15-year assets. Whereas before the study, you're depreciating them over 20 years.
Hmm.
So some assets are you're able to depreciate faster, and they hold more value. And so you're able to take a bigger deduction, therefore reducing your income,
mm. How
and
often?
therefore reducing your tax or your tax or your refund or increasing your refund.
How often can you do that though?
Um, well, let's just say you've had it for 5 years, but you made renovations. You
Hmm.
can do it. You can do it for, let's say, for this current year,
Right.
and you wouldn't be able to do it until you've either done added an addition or
Hmm.
something that makes sense.
Trigger.
Yeah, that'll give you a deduction that's worth taking the cost segregation step.
I
So
see.
it's kind of like a one-shot deal unless you kind of do some major upgrades.
I see. I see. Okay.
Or let's say you're a investor.
Hmm.
Purchase buildings, commercial buildings or whatnot, or office buildings,
Hmm.
and therefore you put them into LLCs, and then you perform a cost segregation studies when you know you're going to be, because some of these all you do is receive rent.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That's your revenue, and
Right.
so by getting a cost segregation study, you're able to reduce
I
that.
see. So you can stretch it out if you need more cash flow. You can shrink it in if you want to reduce your tax liability, basically.
Correct.
Okay, that's
So
very cool.
you look at it that way. So to get a bigger deduction, correct.
Yeah, awesome, awesome,
Yeah,
cool. Sounds like a powerful tool.
it
Um,
is.
yeah, so you've helped people recover over $150 million. That's a lot of money, right? In
Right.
R&D tax credits. So what is the key to delivering so much impact?
Well, the key delivering impact is basically uh, meeting with the client and kind of explaining the whole thing
Hmm.
and letting them know that we want to capture everything that can be potentially on the table. We don't want to leave anything on the table that we can potentially take. So the three main costs that we look at that go into the calculation is basically wages, which drives the credit. Now, when you look at the personnel pay, usually some individuals just take the engineers.
Hmm.
Some providers, they want to expedite the study, or because of a budget or whatnot, so they expedite the study and they just take the engineers or software engineer, whether it be software engineers or whatnot, and then they don't really take, there's levels. So
Hmm.
there's a level up. So those are the executives. Maybe the owner is an engineer. Maybe
Hmm.
the owner oversees the projects,
Right.
or maybe he's not an engineer, but he has a technical expertise, and so he drives it, or there's certain other executives that are they may have the background for that, or a level down where the engineer has staff, maybe junior engineers or just people in general helping uh, create the prototype, whether they're working in the machine to develop to cut out the part, or preparing it, or testing it, or those are all individuals that you can potentially take. Also, a lot of people don't also take. There's certain other aspects of the business that you're able to take. Marketing, for instance, a lot of marketing people have the technical expertise,
Mm.
as do the salespeople.
Mm.
So let's say you have a salesperson for your company. He has a software background. He's very technical,
Hmm.
maybe through trade or maybe through discipline or whatnot. But he's very well versed in whatever you're doing. So we take some time because he is the liaison between the company and you, relaying what they want you to perform, or have that whatever it is you're creating for them
Hmm.
perform to specs,
Mm.
so they understand the lingo.
So you basically gather all the cost, right? It seems
Yeah,
like a big one is the salaries of the people doing the R&D.
that's the main driver.
And then you take that, you report and go, hey, we spent X amount on this. And how does that work? Does the government issue a tax credit for the whole amount? And
No, no. So,
or,
well, wages is one of the aspects. Then there's supplies. Let's just say I'm currently working on a pharmaceutical company. You
Mhm.
take all the supplies, the compounds that create the drug.
Yeah.
Those are all supplies that you're able to take,
Hmm.
create that drug.
Yeah.
and also contractors. They use outside contractors to help them test that drug,
Mm.
or they come in-house and help them create the drug,
Hmm.
whatever it is. But those are the three. Those are the three. And so what? So let's just say it's the total of all three add up to, let's say, 300,000. Well, the credit is a percentage of that 300,000.
Hmm. And
And
then
so the government's not that generous, right? It's not that they're not that generous. So they'll give you a percentage of your total expense.
hmm. And then that credit can be applied at the end of the year when you're filing your taxes.
Right. So let's just say that you did we did an R&D study this year, but you had to pay a lot of tax last year.
Hmm.
You can carry back the credit 3 years and then
Oh.
and then carry it forward for 20.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you had a
California
profitable, okay.
California is indefinite. So
Okay.
but it keeps going. So you're able to utilize it um strategically. You can go back or move forward.
Hmm. Hmm. That's really cool. Now, part of your business model, involves working with CPA firms, right? You
Correct.
partner with CPA firms, and what makes that collaboration model so effective?
Because a lot of these companies or a lot of CPA firms don't do certain specialties, and this specialty as well as cost seg, that a lot of them don't do it only because it requires an expertise.
Mm,
You really want to dot your I's and cross your T's on some of these. Other ones they'll do it, but these really um, kind of get looked at more often than not, or not really, but they get looked at. And if they do get looked at, you really want to be able to have a stance where you position the client in a safe stance where they can prove the credit.
yeah, yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
compliance here, right? So,
Right. So yeah, that's the strategy, is that we kind of become the back office for that CPA firm.
you're like the
So
insurance policy, basically.
correct. So either they hire us as the contractor or they do, but either we put them on, we use their material, marketing material on our product, our
Hmm.
reports,
Hmm.
or they just contract us and then they use ours.
Oh, okay.
It just depends.
Okay. So there's like a white label element depending on what they're looking for.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Very cool. So how do you ensure that in, the worst case scenario where they get audited, how do you ensure them that they have everything in a row, right? Like ready for something like that?
Well, because we in the process of actually doing these projects,
Hmm.
we collect documentation
Hmm.
to support our numbers, and then we create a report.
Hmm.
A report is basically kind of, we tailor it after the IRS audit report, or the audit, um what they look at, to their standard issued audit for an
Yeah.
R&D case.
Right.
So we follow that, and then we model our report according to that audit report.
Okay. So kids, you already understand how they're gonna ask the questions.
Yeah, they're gonna. We already know what they're gonna ask for. What information that should be in that report.
Hmm.
So basically, it's a well-rounded, comprehensive report that lists everything. We even put in the documentation, if we can, from the permission of the client. If it's not, sensitive information, or if it is, then at the end of our report, we just say, for if you want to see documentation, you'll have to request it from the client. So
Hmm.
that way it stays safe, and then we're
Okay.
not reporting any, or having any sensitive information out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So that was a very technical conversation. Let's switch gears a little bit.
sure,
So
sure.
yeah, outside of work, you're dedicated to health, fitness, family. How do those personal passions, shape what you do at work, right?
You know what? Sports and fitness have been like a backbone of my life since I was a kid. I've been in sports all my life. Played college football. Kept a sense of regiment with my health. Um, And I recently have had, as 2, 3 years ago, I'm not sure, I think I told you, but I've had open heart surgery.
Mm,
I had hip replacement, not because of bad food, but I had a bad valve.
I see.
It's a hereditary problem.
Yeah.
And so, um, you know, I was like in the best shape of my life. And then I go, well, what's going on, man? How do I see everybody on social media partying, eating, having a good time, and I'm in the hospital
Yeah.
having open heart.
It happens.
It screws with your mind a little bit, but you know what? You go through certain things. I think for a reason.
Yeah.
And so after that, I had a different perspective of life. But sports have been a backbone of of everything. So I've always um, it's helped me kind of lead in my industry, be kind of management skills, leadership skills. Um, it's taught me discipline, which is huge.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I guess, those are like the three main drivers that for me, uh, fitness has added to my life, and not to mention my kids because they see me doing it, well, they're doing it too,
Yeah.
and so my kids, they see me like a fanatic and sometimes out of my mind going to the gym and this and that, eating, and so they tend to kind of stray that way as well.
Yeah.
I see them eating, making smarter food choices,
Mm-hmm.
going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me very happy dad.
Yeah.
That
Your kids watch you. Yeah.
yeah. So when that old saying goes, you lead
Mm-hmm.
by doing, well,
Mm-hmm.
that's very apparent. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. And but that's not only in your personal, but also in your business.
Mm-hmm.
If your employees see you doing it, even doing the work as not maybe just the executive, but you're around doing the small stuff, the stuff you shouldn't be doing. Well, shoot, maybe that it kind of rubs off. This guy
Yeah.
cares.
For
This guy
sure.
cares. Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, it's a it, it's very helpful
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that you do it.
Yeah. Now, looking ahead, how do you see the R&D tax credit space evolving in the next 5 years, and how is tax formulations prepared for that shift?
It's exciting because with this love it or not, the current administration is bringing in a lot of technology into the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it be AI, circuit boards, steel, wood, timber, everything, it's coming in. So a lot of that is going to be technology is going to be a big part of all those industries,
Mm-hmm.
and then so we're going to see a spurt of technological advances in the next years.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting stuff. And so what we're doing is kind of trying to incorporate AI into accounting. You know, I'm learning it right now because it's so brand new. So you have to, in order to evolve your business, you got to as probably well as you as well.
Yeah.
Uh, you got to learn all these new technologies in order to advance your business because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want your business to stall because that's not good news.
Yeah, yeah. That reminds me of my last guest, Haas. He's a bookkeeping accountant,
Uh-huh.
and he's talking about how like AI, it's kind of going to automate
It's
accounting,
business.
right?
Yeah.
Business accounting, things that are like structurally like very SOP driven, like are going to be very
Right.
easy to replace with AI, and so everyone's kind of pivoting towards strategy,
Right.
right?
You
And
gotta have to embrace it.
right, you have to embrace it. You got to think about strategy first. And like what you're talking about, understanding what the IRS is looking for and having
Correct.
all that ready and having all those process and walking your customer through that because the customer doesn't even know how to use AI to solve this problem because they don't have the experience.
Right.
So,
Right. And so the more AI is the more marketable you'll be, the more your company will advance. So, I'm learning as much as I can. I'm trying to consume. read and hear
Yeah.
podcasts or whatnot,
Yeah.
uh, to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay,
So
so I have one last question for you, but before
sure.
I do that, I want to, let our audience know um, to visit your website, taxformulations.com. I know it's coming soon. We're helping you with that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Yeah. So the last question is, it was interesting. We were talking about this. You and your girlfriend started a nonprofit called Goddess Mercado, right?
Yes.
Goddess Market, right?
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
That's kind of our passion project. More so, well, it started with her being her passion project, which obviously by default became my passion project because it's kind of it's near and dear to my heart because we advocate for entrepreneurship and
Hmm.
low income and my minority businesses. So we kind of we're already we're already kind of working with high schoolers, with women, with different types of organizations to help them develop some entrepreneurial skills and put their passion into a business. So whether you sew, whether you cook, whether you have a product, whether you paint, we art, jewelry, whatever,
Hmm.
we kind of help you, guide you, and maneuver through the starting process. And then we have on every second and third weekend of the month at the Belvedere Park here in East Los Angeles, we sponsor a pop-up.
Mm.
And so if you wanted to start to know how kind of get your feet wet, we'll
Hmm.
put you in a pop-up and sell your stuff, sell your service. And we advertise for you. We kind of show you how to social media, um, um, get your paperwork ready so that you're able to open a bank account, whatnot, and all that stuff, so that we can get you a foot in the door, and then it, hard work pays off. We always advocate hard work pays off. So, well, because if you're doing what you love, it's not really work, right?
Right.
So a lot of people really love and enjoy what they do because, and you can see it at these pop-ups. And then we have live music, and so we make it a whole event,
Hmm.
uh, um, so that we have a lot of the community come out and enjoy and in kind of support.
Okay. So it sounds like a cross between like a incubator and a startup coaching.
That's exactly right. It's kind of like a mentorship, uh,
Uh-huh.
for an incubator for businesses,
Uh-huh.
and then we kind of mentor or help you
Right.
through the process.
And financial literacy, right? That's a big thing.
Right. And so
Yeah.
we kind of teach you the whole gambit
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
as much as we can. And if we don't know the topic, then we get people that know the topic.
Very
We have a lot of supporters for us that we've come out and they've really, really, really helped us out. Um,
Where do people find more information about this?
the Goddess Mercado, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on website.
Okay. Okay. So you want the website is it
It's thegoddessmercado.com.
goddessmercado.com. Okay, I'll have my team link it up and look you guys up on there.
And my girlfriend's name is Diana Diaz. If
And
you see
Diaz.
her,
She's the
she's there.
goddess.
She's the goddess. If you see her, you'll understand why.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like a
So
very, very cool, worthwhile nonprofit. Yeah.
yeah, because it can't always be, we like to teach our discipline onto or our business background into people that don't have any,
Yeah.
and it's really fulfilling because these people take off,
Yeah.
and we've already seen some people open up a brick and mortar
Yeah.
or made some significant strides in their business. So um it's kind of heartfelt because we even have musicians that
Right.
we give shots to that are local musicians.
Right.
Now they're working with other artists.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really an environment it's a motivational environment, inspirational environment.
Yeah.
Come check us out.
Cool. Okay. Definitely will. I just remember like 20 years ago when we started, we didn't even know what an invoice was.
Right. And so if you had a source where you can go and ask all the time,
Yeah.
that kind of cuts a lot of the time out of the way. So, but that's our passion project, which has been very fulfilling up to date. We've been going on for 6 years now.
Okay. Cool. All right.
6
Well,
years.
Martin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Vic, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then for our listeners, if you think your business may be overlooking valuable tax incentives, head over to taxformulations.com, learn more about or schedule a free consultation, right? Thanks again for tuning into the Raw Spotlight. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed this conversation. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Raw Spotlight podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.